Let's get into the A. And if you are part of my community, I actually send an extra newsletter. And so the well-being blueprint is part of my paid subscription participants. And so we have been going through the alphabet. And so we did A. And our focus for A was the three words is accept it, adapt it, and accommodate, or I should say accept it, um, adjust it, and accommodate. And so the question here is, what have you accepted as normal and accommodate and adjusted your way of life to accommodate something that was never really meant to be? So you see that three A's. Have you accepted anything in your life and adjusted your way of life to something to accommodate to something that was never supposed to be? And a lot of people think about things like this. Like for me, when I found out this, I actually heard Bishop Jake say this a long time ago, like a long, long time ago. And it resonated so deeply because at the time I was struggling with working out and making sure I take care of my health and things like that. And I was like, why are you accepting this? Why are you allowing your inner critic to make you be lazy when it's time for you to go work out? You're like dragging around and you won't do it. So, my question to you is there anything in your life that you have accepted as normal? And now you've adjusted your way of life to accommodate that thing that was really never supposed to be. Many of us do it all the time. We do it all the time. And so it's so important for us to find out because one thing about me, I am always after transformation. So you have to find out what it is that I'm dealing with, what it is that is bothering me, what it is that I need to be more self aware of. And ask yourself, is it poor health? Is it just poverty or lack and insufficiency? Is it maybe bad habits? Or I should have said lack of finances, because that's a big one for a lot of people. Is it the negative self talk that you keep beating yourself up, saying that you're not enough or you can't do this and you can't do that? Is it you actually having low self esteem by your own words? So what is it that you're accepting? That's really what I want you to dig into on that one. So the key takeaways for this one is you have to identify whether it's the draining person, the job, the toxic relationship, or your unhealthy habits that you've been tolerating. Only you can determine that. And I want you to acknowledge these factors without judgment and realize that you don't have to accept them as permanent. You have the power to change. And then your action, I want you to start questioning what you've accommodated and then make conscious choices like setting boundaries, cultivating positive habits. If you have to put little sticky notes up there and say, I am enough and I am more than a conqueror. I mean, whatever you have to do to get your mindset shifted in a positive direction, and that's what I'd encourage you to do. And you need to honor your well being and reclaim control over your life. If you feel like you're spinning out of control, you can grab the reins of that and then bring yourself back into alignment. And then we went into the B's, the being, becoming, and your brand. I put those three together because I love your brand, because your brand is your bond. Your brand is who people say you are when you're not there. It's the way that you make people feel, even though your presence is not there. When you leave the room, what do people say about you? Not that you care what people say about you necessarily, but if you're presenting a brand, then you do, because a brand really introduces me to trust. Me, my reputation is the fact that people trust me. They trust my brand. It's the same thing with like with Starbucks. I always use the example of Starbucks when I go and order something I don't need. A grande soy chai, no water, no foam. Guess what? They give me grande soy chai, no water, no foam. So if I go to a Starbucks anywhere in the United States or the world, I can order that drink and pretty much get that drink. But sometimes when I go to some of them and I order that drink, I'm like ready to spit it out because it is not the brand. It may have a logo up there, but it's not the brand. So really important. Your brand speaks to who you are. And that's why being and becoming is so important because we're constantly, I don't want to be just a human doing. I want to be a being. You want to be a human being, meaning I am going to become that which I have been working on. So if I'm doing the work with becoming more loving, more forgiving, more friendly, any of those things that you need to be, because what you see in the mirror, you want to be able to say, okay, Charlene, you're being really ugly and mean right now. You know what I mean? You need to be able to grip your own self and become the highest expression of yourself where your love is flowing out to other people. And it doesn't have to be a mushy gushy love. It's the love that contends, the love that says, Charlene, you had a bad attitude today. Why don't you check that? That doesn't become you. You see what I'm saying? So that's the B. And then we did C, compassion, commitment, and choice. And with this particular one, it's so important for us to have self compassion because we're doing stuff for everybody else, but we don't have compassion for ourselves. That's why I wanted to target that one. And then commitment, I gave you 6 stages of commitment. It's the defining moment. It is the decisive moment. It is the distasteful moment. It is the deceptive moment. It's the dying moment. And then it's the destiny moment. That is the stages of commitment, which are so important. I actually heard it from Dr. Michael Mitchell many years ago, and I just expanded on it because it was so significant in my life. If you're going to make a commitment, you have to have a defining moment. If it's a business that you're getting ready to birth, is it a marriage that you're getting ready to go into? You have to know that you know that you know that that's what you're supposed to be doing. And then once you know, you have to make a decision to do something about it. If it's a business or a dream that I just got downloaded, I have to make a decision to do something about it. I have to move into action. I got to start my LLC or I got to start studying. I got to do something because now that I've defined my moment and I know what I'm supposed to be doing, I have to do something about it. And then that third moment is the distasteful moment. That's the moment when offenses come. Somebody may say something that offends you, or the relationship that you thought was thriving is now toxic. That's the distasteful moment. And you have to handle those distasteful moments right. And let's get this one out of the way. Offenses are going to come. That's what the word of God tells us. Challenges are going to come. People are going to say something. People are not going to be there to support you all the time. So that can cause you to have a distasteful moment. But you don't want that distasteful moment to make you slip into deception, the deceptive moment where now you are ready to quit, or you no longer see the person that you were with as your soulmate. Or maybe now because I'm having trouble in the business and it's not doing what I thought it's supposed to do, I'm going to quit. But that's not when you're supposed to quit. Because I defined my moment and I made a decision. See, the defining moment is critical because if I didn't define my moment, if I'm like, oh, maybe that person is my mate, maybe not. No, you're not ready. It has to be, I know this is my husband. I know this is the business that I'm supposed to start. So that when you get to the deceptive, the distasteful and deceptive moment, you'll be ready to say, you know what, nope, I've defined my moment. I'm gonna stick in there. And this is actually something that's gonna be worth me fighting for. All right. And so let's go down to, I think I have one more thing. Yeah. So choice. Choice is critical. Every day that we wake up, we have a choice. I have a choice to stay positive or negative. I have a choice to take care of my health or not. I have a choice to get angry or not. We have a choice. Nobody can take your choice away from you. So you have a choice to make your life better if you don't like how you're showing up now. If you don't like your current circumstances, you can choose to do something different to take you out of that. Just like when I was working, I began to start feeling restless and, not burnt out. Remember, I defined it as misalignment. And so I finally stopped being misaligned and stepped out into early retirement so that I can do the things that I know that was in my heart to do. See, I had a choice. I could have stayed there and just finished out my tenure till I turned 65 and been done, but I would have been miserable. And so I chose health. I chose well being. I chose peace because I wanted to jump into some things that I haven't done yet. And so that's just a little wrap up of what we did. If we had questions, I am going to answer. There was a question that I want to answer for someone. Let me see where it is. This was an interesting question. It says, how do you know if a moment is choosing you or if it is a distraction? That is a really good question because there's so many things that come at us that can be a distraction. And matter of fact, distractions are coming very rapidly. All the time they're coming. And so how you know when the moment chooses you is from that inner knowing. Like I had a whisper in my heart that I knew that what I was doing was something that I needed to stop doing and to go somewhere else. I was misaligned. So that moment for me, I knew that that was not a distraction. The distraction was me staying comfortable and continuing to work 10 to 12 hours a day, be exhausted. Like that became a distraction to what I really needed to do. And the things that just come at us. It can be somebody, hey, you want to go to this meeting with me? When you know your vision, when you are very clear on your vision keeps you with a narrow focus. So when I know what I'm supposed to be doing and I'm called to do, when someone comes to me and say, "Hey, would you like to come to a meeting with me? There's this opportunity that's happening." If it doesn't align with my vision, with what I know my vision is, then I don't get engaged in it. That's why you can stay focused. I know that that is a distraction because that doesn't align with my vision. You have to get that because people are going to offer so many different things, but you have to have a conviction to say that that is not what I'm supposed to be doing in that moment. And then there was another one. Um, how did you know it was time to pivot from nursing leadership into starting your own wellness business? And that came from the infamous word of unrest. I began to start having unrest at least 6 years prior to when I left. The unrest was like an uneasiness, and then I'll notice that I was irritated a little bit or frustrated about things. And I began that actually it was the longer I waited, the more what word am I trying to use? The more frequent I began to start feeling unrest or frustration or challenges and things like that. That's when I know that I have to do something about this because before it hit me once or twice, maybe in a few months, but then it was an everyday thing where I was frustrated, I was irritated, and I can tell that I was not being my authentic self like I normally am. I was able to go through the day and love on people because I'm called to people, but the work itself was just becoming tedious and energy draining. So that's how I knew that it was time for me to shift and do something different. So, anyway, thank you for listening. I know some of you guys are going to listen to this later, but I am going to be doing these Q&As every month. We also have some special things happening toward the beginning of the year, so stay tuned. And if you want to hear anything in particular, or you have personal questions that you want to ask me, please feel free to send out a message. I'd love to connect with you. Okay, thank you and have a great day.